Today we will paint a close-up view of a rose. Essentially, this painting consists of a multitude of shadings, making it a perfect beginner painting. But regardless of your skill level, you will get fantastic practice in spotting small changes in tonal value by doing this painting. The colors I will use for this painting are titanium white, cadmium orange, alizarin crimson, and French ultramarine. I look at the reference and pick out a few distinct colors, some in the highlight areas, some in the mid-tone areas, and others in the shadow areas. How many colors I mix will depend on how many distinct variations of color I see on the reference photo. At a minimum, you will always need to mix at least 3 colors: a highlight, a mid-tone, and a shadow. More often than not, however, you will mix 5 or more color variations, as the light and the surrounding objects affect each petal differently, resulting in different colors. If you look at my palette, you will also see that I tend to arrange these colors from dark to light. Later on, this will help you better judge which is the correct color to use. For example, if I'm painting a mid-tone area and I'm not sure which color to use, I can look on the palette to see what mid-tone colors are available. In this case, there is an orange biased mid-tone and a pink biased mid-tone. I can then look at the area I'm painting to decide if that area is closer to the pink or the orange mix. Or maybe it's something different which I need to mix separately. I then start painting from the outside petals and work my way inward. The reason I do this is to get the overlapping of the petals correct. As I work inward, I automatically paint over the outside petal, getting that overlap 100% correct and real. I also paint one petal at a time. I paint it as complete as I can before moving on to the next. And when starting a new petal, I ignore the fact that it is a petal. I rather see it as a random shape with random shadings in it. I then find the random shapes formed by the different colors and shades inside the petal. I block in these shades and colors next to each other on the canvas. Initially, I am not concerned with blending them into each other. All I'm trying to do is get the correct colors in the correct places on the petal. Once all the colors are blocked in, I concentrate on the transitions between adjacent colors. And again, I will only concentrate on one transition at a time. And as I move along that transition, I look to see how the two colors blend into each other in that area. Do they meet in a sharp line? Do they blend into each other slowly? Or something in between? You will find that often a transition will start off as a sharp edge and then gradually become more and more lost as you move along that transition. When the one transition of colors is completely blended, then move on to the next transition of colors until the entire petal has been shaded. And when the one petal is complete, do the same to the next one, and so on until the flower is complete. When you start a painting like this, the whole canvas is white. In other words, each petal is surrounded by white canvas. And this can make the colors you are painting appear darker than they actually are. As you paint, however, the petals gradually become surrounded by other painted petals. The true tonal value of the previous painted petals then become apparent, making those petals appear lighter. Now, this optical trap can cause your final painting to look dull and flat because the darks are now not as dark as they should be. For that reason, it's important that you stand back every now and again to compare the tonal values in your painting against those of the reference. As you do that, also compare the petals against each other to ensure the contrasts between them are correct. For example, the brightest highlights on one petal may only be equal to the mid-tone on another petal. The flower is round, so some petals are in shadow, while others are in full sunlight. So we can't just paint every petal's highlight the same tonal value. If we did that, the sun in our painting would always look like it's coming from directly overhead, making the whole flower look flat. As a result, you must always know which direction the sun is coming from in your paintings and paint your highlights and shadows accordingly. Let me know in the comments below which direction the sun is coming from in this painting. To get a good three-dimensional effect in a painting like this, pay special attention to where adjacent petals meet. If there's distance between the petals, you will have a sharp line separating the two. If they are touching each other, you may get a lost line where you can barely see the difference in color and tonal value between the two. Another thing to look out for is the contrast between the inside and the outside of the petal. A petal will usually appear darker and darker towards the inside of the flower as less and less light can get in between the petals. And it's this contrast that makes the petal stand up off the canvas. Also, pay careful attention to the outside edge of the petal. Petals will often curl over at the edges, resulting in a short, sharp shading. Painting those edge shadings can take your painting to a whole new level, so are well worth the extra effort. In the center of the flower, the petals are upright, so you can see the thickness of the petal. You can paint this thickness in using a rigger brush and paint your thin down to the consistency of an ink. I think I've explained all the major points to look out for when painting a rose like this. If you'd like to follow the real-time paint-along version of this class, you can head over to our website, onlineartlessons.com. So let me show you what the completed painting looks like. Have a good look over it and see if you can pick out all the different points we have been discussing. Please don't forget to like and subscribe for more tutorials like this. I'll see you next time.